I
Are
don't.
you hitting? Do you see it? Do you see the record?
Wow, 7, 8. It's going up.
Let's go. That's so
That's
exciting.
great. Also, last week or last episode, it's been a little while.
It has.
We made a couple jokes about like, oh yeah, no, that happened the first time. We didn't do. What are you talking about? Because I didn't want to mention a bunch of times that like, oh yeah, just like I forgot to start the recording last time, because I thought that would be annoying. But in doing so, I didn't mention it once, and so
We had a snafu on the last episode, but hey, now we can actually, reference other episodes, and they're up. And yeah, it's not blindly recording and being like, I wonder what's going to happen with the first few episodes. Did they ever exist? Did they ever get posted on YouTube? I don't know.
Who knows?
Now we know. I know a few people found it. I saw a post on my subreddit where people were like, hey, here's the channel for the podcast. And I was like, oh my God, how did they find it? Well, probably because I gave the name. But so they must have been like,
did they just keep searching?
probably
it?
every day.
Because
Maybe they searched the name. Yeah.
I don't put your name or my name. My name doesn't matter, but your name anywhere. Like
Wow.
Captain Spark. Well, like no one's gonna search up. Oh yes, Alex. Let's look for him.
The mystical
search
Alex.
bar. I figure maybe the YouTube algorithm would recommend some. If I put Captain Sparkles or Jordan Marin or anything anywhere, it would maybe serve the podcast.
Did you just say that the YouTube
someone.
algorithm would recommend me? Did you say that?
It would only recommend you to people who are already watching your videos.
Maybe
At the time.
Maybe. Does it even do that though? That's what I'm wondering. I don't know.
That's right.
We have a bit of a relationship with the YouTube algorithm, and oh man, just some of the videos that you have put together, and I'm like, this has to get out there, and then you're like, why? Did you see the replay mod clips that he just assembled at the beginning? Are you not entertained? Okay, sorry. This is totally not stock or shipping related at all, but
oh, it's this podcast has shipping and stock included, but not only.
Also YouTube algorithm.
Yeah. I do feel sad when that happens. That's funny. Just today I was thinking, yeah, that sun to end portal transition was pretty good, wasn't it?
I feel worse because I'm like, I want your effort to be appreciated, and then it's not, and I feel like I've done something wrong and I've made a mistake and let you down.
It's kind of funny because neither of us, I don't think have done anything. I don't know how it works, the black box.
I don't either, but I do know that when I talk about current events type topics on just like the straight to my other camera kind of format, it does seem to get people interested. So I don't know, man. It's a weird time.
Seems like the videos I don't interact with get you millions of views. So perhaps we have found the issue.
You're right. This channel is doomed. It was you all along.
And it's my fault. I've been doing it.
Oh, no, dude. Oh, I don't understand it. But anyway, that's other channels.
Yeah, welcome to this channel. We're definitely going to continue. We're not going to abandon this after several tries. We've never done that before.
No, definitely not. Hopefully, a couple of years from now, we'll look back at us saying this and be like, we were right. We stuck with it. Stuck with our guns.
Yeah. Or we could stop doing it and then in a few years come back and repurpose it for something else. We would never do something like that.
Why do you have to like call me out like that?
What are you talking about?
God. Wait, did you actually make an intro?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. This was a topic that you wanted to discuss, both the Ever Given and shipping in general, because that's gone on a wild ride the past few years, much like everything else in the world kind of has. But it's gone on a wild ride.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of inflation. People are kind of suspecting and looking at these shipping companies who have had just record-breaking profits, and they are the source of all of the original, everything that comes into the country or leaves. It's all influenced by how these companies price their shipping. And so you kind of have this step one, this baseline price setter that kind of overflows in all the rest. And you see they've had continuous 50% more revenue per quarter the past several quarters. Makes you wonder.
Well, it is not the rates kind of, I have a graph here. They really peaked at the end of last year. So these are the shipping rates that were, it was, these are in dollars. And it, went pretty high starting at, I don't know if this can't be $0 down here. I don't know where the graph actually is supposed to start, the baseline, maybe a couple thousand or so. Not the most well-marked graph. But starting fairly low, and then as soon as COVID hits, it starts to ramp up, and then it ends up peaking basically at like 10x the costs that it was pre-pandemic. And I think, though, I mean, a lot of that was just due to like there are labor shortages, ports are being shut down. I'm sure a lot of people remember that there were just these log jams of container ships at all the major ports all over the place. Port of LA, you had, I can't remember the exact wait times. I don't want to misquote anything, but I even remember because I was working on, clothing that I'm still working on, and the folks who handle the fulfillment in the back end and producing the clothing that is then sold as quality content, the brand, they're like, oh my God, dude, it's a nightmare. We have to do huge, massive lead times. The clothes are stuck on the ship in the ports. We have to wait for ages for it to unload. And so they kind of have to just like bulk order, over order, guesstimate when things are actually going to arrive. So they're trying to order way in advance, way more product than they actually need. And that obviously kind of snowballs on itself, because when everyone starts ordering like that, then you're obviously going to have these massive backups, and then you have less staff at the ports and less ports that are actually operational, especially with them completely shutting down in some places in China, which is still ongoing. And it all just creates, as it says over here on my webpage, the perfect storm.
Wow.
Next to the chart.
Wow. Also, can I see?
I don't know how to, can I screen share and webcam share? Let me just link you, actually.
Wow, plummeting freight rates bring relief for importers. Well, that sounds nice.
So yeah, on the tail end of this chart, you can see that they are not quite at pre-pandemic prices, but the trajectory is heading there. And so like this is something that I call it a little bit of hopium from the folks who are like, whoa, the Fed's going too far on the interest rates. Okay, these are lagging indicators that we are basing these hikes off of. Inventories are built up. Okay, people are going to have to reduce prices on their overbuilt inventory. You have shipping rates that are on the way down. All right, inflation is going away, but we're just not realizing it because the CPI report is lagging. And so you'd point to something like that. That said, if only inflation was tying into this, it would be very nice. But inflation appears to be sticky, despite the fact that the shipping rates are plummeting, because I do think you have other costs that are being worked in here, like energy costs, which sure, gas is included sort of and baked into the shipping costs, but it also touches so many other aspects of day-to-day life.
As we spoke about last episode, callback, woohoo.
Yeah, it kind of ties into inflation a little bit, what we're talking about here.
This is pretty much a closer look at a specific region of something that contributes to and is affected by inflation. And hey, speaking of inflation, let's take a slight detour. What about your haircut? What was that?
What do you mean? What about my haircut?
Okay, so what was it, 3 weeks ago or something? So
the pace of my haircuts.
Yeah, and then at the very beginning, before we started, we were like, yeah, we'll talk about the haircut like during the recording. And then at the beginning, I was like, guess what we're talking about? Haircuts. And then we didn't. So what's up with that hair, Jordan?
Oh, so it was basically, I, because I don't like to go outside whenever possible, I went outside for a whole day for a film shoot last week. and my eyes were in such burning pain because of all the sunscreen going into them by the end of the day that I tried to do a stream when I got back home that night, and I could not have the lights on because my eyes were just in pain. So anyway,
Vampire.
outside, dangerous place. But
it is.
That said, I do. I have my haircut at my house, and he.
The guy comes to your house and does it?
Yeah. And so
cool.
It's nice. It's very nice. It's the same guy who I used to go to the barbershop pre-COVID, and then they all shut down. And it was like, well, I went for an extended period of time without a haircut, and I and so I'm like, okay, but how can I do it with the barbershop closed? So I asked him, like, will you come over? He said, yes, he can. So we had it set for a while at a certain price. And then, 6 months ago or however long, I don't know, before like the last haircut of the one before it, he just said, like, I got to raise my rates like 60 or 70% or something. So I was just like, I mean, I guess I can just go slightly longer in between a haircut, Yeah. So I let my hair get a little wild. That was all. But I finally got a bit too long, and I was like, I should get a haircut. This is a bit excessive.
Yeah, I've been looking for the same thing. But thing is, last time I got my haircut, it was just a random. All right, let's look at Google. What do we got? I chose wrong, and the guy screwed it up.
Oh no!
And so now I've waited so long to let it get like super long to like repair it. It's not super long, but it's compared to what I usually get, it is long. And I'm not doing it though. I am waiting until I personally recommended. I'm going around like, hey, you got someone, but they have to be able to do like you got short hair.
Why don't you just take a trimmer? I was half inclined to just like take a trimmer, but I think that, I don't know. There'd be a lot of
almost
pushback.
Shaved my head several times.
I just think like there'd be some amount of pushback on stream. People would be like, why would you just make yourself like bald? That's terrible.
Yeah.
And so my brand requires some amount of hair. Eventually, once it starts falling out though, I will probably just take the trimmer to it.
Pivot the brand image. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebrand once your hair starts going.
I'll be considered even older than people already look at me to be in streams and stuff. Oof.
Yeah, because look, the shaved head, maybe it's not the best for a lot of people, but it's just so easy in every single way. Not just cutting, but I never will have to go like that again. It would be so nice.
Yeah.
Headphones at least keep them up and away.
Just like all the shampoo that you would shave, and shampoo is more expensive these days. So, yeah,
combating inflation by shaving your head.
Exactly, dude. You pay less for haircuts, you pay less for shampoo. Tell me why everybody shouldn't do this.
Why do we have hair? It seems a little unnecessary.
Why did we evolve this way? This is so silly.
Let's go. Yeah, we got a few evolutionary quirks, don't we, that we could do away with.
Nipples, appendixes, yeah.
That'd be fun. Hold on. Is the plural of appendix the organ appendices?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Plural organ.
In most cases, though, the weird like octopies is actually, it is octopuses is like valid, and like. Yeah. So I don't know. There are certain instances where
just like platypuses, people think it's platypi, but it's not.
It's definitely not platypi.
Is that a double?
God. Okay. Somehow this is transitioned into like an English language podcast, and I left that in high school. So, anyway,
I haven't spoken English since high school either.
There is something that's kind of interesting about the shipping rates, like dramatically tanking downwards, is it creates like, there's one company in particular that I've kind of had on a watch list for ages, called ZIM, Integrated Shipping. It's just ZIM is their ticker symbol. And because people are essentially envisioning that, here, let me link you this so you can look at it. Because people or analysts keep envisioning and forecasting that shipping rates are going to trend downwards. Obviously, the market is forward-looking, and so the price of the stock keeps on dropping, but they are still making very huge amounts of money. And so ZIM has a PE of 0.44, and their dividend currently, these numbers seem like it must be wrong, right? Their dividend is 116%. Their stock is $23, but their dividend is $27. And that's because people think that the shipping rates are going to continue to trend downwards. So they're like, well, in the future, this isn't going to be worth that much. But for now, it's still raking in cash and paying out. Basically, like, if you hold on to this, you will have to pay taxes on the dividend. There's like an Israeli tax associated with it, and then you have to pay income tax on what is you receive after that. But it's just this wild phenomena that I don't think I've ever seen. It says fair value is undervalued with a 263% estimated return. But yeah, you don't often see 116% dividends on stuff, do you?
I mean, I guess, it's okay, dividend.
But you can see that the chart, like, it's being viewed very unfavorably. Peaked in March.
That's so weird. Yeah.
$84, and then just has been trending downwards. And obviously, every time
Although I guess everything is.
Every time they pay a dividend, though, obviously it drops the stock. But there's selling in between each of those dividends being paid out. So I'm sure someone has managed to like make off really well, kind of noticing this pattern and the fact that it's kept up. Yeah, anyway, it's really interesting. But still, like, the outlook on shipping rates is that it is going to continue to trend downwards because it does have more room to fall, obviously.
Yeah.
But
hey, this is great. We don't have our certifications anyway, so we can do. Okay, so buy ZIM. That is our official recommendation, financial advice.
No,
it.
That's
if you lose any money, you can sue both of us.
Wow.
We are good, and so are you.
We are good if people sue both of us.
Is that what I said?
Right. They can. I reject what Alex has said, but you can attribute this all to Alex and not me.
Okay. All right, you can sue me personally. We'll have a little suit. We'll go to the tailors. We'll have a suit together.
Hey, if you like dividends, though, maybe you can take a look at it. Just read into a little bit like how the Israeli tax situation works with it, because I don't know too much about that. But there is something with the tax way it's handled there that's a little complex. And
it's really taxing.
Yeah. So anyway, like some withholding, and I don't know how you report it. It's weird. There are some stocks out there that, like, it's not just a simple dividend where you pay income tax on the dividend / it's just a stock that doesn't issue a dividend, maybe a growth stock that's just, you're hoping they do buybacks or something like that. There are certain stocks out there that have different forms of their business that do, like, they issue you very interesting forms at the end of the year, and you might be like, wait, what the frick is this that I just got in the mail, and I have to worry about a whole bunch of taxation that I wasn't thinking about. So things to keep in mind.
Yeah. Jordan is on the right side of the law.
I try to be, man. The amount of notifications that I get from the IRS for stuff that I'm like, bro, I paid you guys. What do you want? What do you want?
Please leave me alone.
Yes. Geez. But anyway, I mean, I know one of the things that you wanted to talk about was the Ever Given. I keep having to hold myself back from saying Evergrande. And
me too.
I know,
yes, right? The Chinese real estate thing that's going down as well, which maybe we'll talk about.
They were basically like at the same time, like the Evergrande stuff started kicking up. That was like when the Ever Given happened too. Yeah.
And it doesn't help that the Ever Given's parent company plastered across the ship is the Evergreen. So you have 3 different names.
Can we just do something other than separate. Ever? Just change. Yeah. Like one person can have Ever or something, and then just change the other stuff, please.
Ever, never, and lever. Call back to the first episode.
Yes. We love leverage.
So, yeah, the Ever Given. Back in, what was it? April 2021?
23rd of March 2021. It got stuck in the Suez Canal.
And what fun it was for that week. See, for people outside of the shipping industry, that was, do you remember just the entire weeks and following worth of posts everywhere? Everyone was just...
I just think that satellite images is pretty great. It genuinely, like, the importance of the Suez Canal cannot really be understated. And I think you get a sense of that just by looking at the geography of where it is and the distance it allows you to save in usage. So it connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea over here, kind of between Egypt and Israel. And so it's this canal that takes this little tiny narrow thing of water, takes you through the Great Bitter Lake. Somebody tried to drink it, didn't taste very good, I guess. And then it takes you out into the Mediterranean Sea. Very teeny, very narrow, but you can then zoom out and see.
It saves you from going over the entirety of Africa.
Yep. That was the before. Not very convenient to get anywhere in Europe from China, India, so on and so forth. Saves a lot of time. And I believe that the stormy seas down at the Cape of Africa can also get pretty nasty depending upon the time of year. So much safer and less risky to avoid going all the way down there as well. Not quite as far south, I don't think, as the bottom of South America, which the Panama Canal allows you to avoid. But still, I think it can get a little bit dicey. Also, it's just so cool that, you know, something like a Google Maps just allows us to look at this. And, you know, Jordan. Anyway.
I thought I can't see exactly where you are, so I thought you were just like Alex, shouting out your name like a Pokemon.
I'm right nearby.
At Google Maps.
But anyway, so the Suez Canal, needless to say, when that is blocked and nothing can get through, it is quite bad because you are going to have a lot of ships that need to get through. Basically anything going from Europe to India, China, Australia, any of those places is going through the Suez Canal.
I believe 12% of the entire world's trade goes through the Suez Canal. So
it's a lot of ships.
It's a couple, And when the Suez was stuck in there, it was delaying $400 million an hour in goods. Because these ships are so incredibly massive and have so much stuff on there. We'll go into it later, but just the backups worth of all of these huge container ships, 400 million an hour just sitting there in the ocean. If they can't get through, if it's food, essentially that they have somewhat climate regulated, but it can't be like that forever.
Right.
So if it's sitting in the Egyptian heat, a bunch of food just goes bad, just has to be thrown away. By the end of it, when it was finally freed, they estimated it was $60 billion of goods total over the time and money lost by that ship getting stuck.
Now, was that in actually like food and merchandise that was perishable, that was destroyed by sitting out, or just that it delayed things?
It delayed.
Okay.
Yeah. The delay and all the problems caused by it was, I believe, estimated to be $60 billion for not too long of a ship being stuck.
Jeez. Yeah, I remember while it was ongoing, just, you know, all the articles obviously are out there trying to make it seem like, you know, get their clicks and be like, could this be stuck forever? Is this just going to stop world
this
trade?
This ship is just going to be in the Suez Canal as a decoration now. It's just going to stay there.
We're going to have to dig a new canal around the ship. It was wild.
Canal,
like
coming soon.
It was wild though, like seeing images of like all the tugboats around the Ever Given, just like
treading water.
Yeah, it looks like you know, when whales have those little fish that kind of latch onto them and like suck the parasites off their skin. It kind of looked like you had a bunch of little sucker fish all around the Ever Given, like trying to clean it up or something
Move
like
it
that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, the famous image of that one, not little, but the big cat mobile. What are those things called? The constructor.
Like an excavator?
Excavator, that's the word. Yeah. This huge excavator just being dwarfed completely by the size of the ship. And there's so many images. That was just me, my responsibilities, that, BuzzFeed meme type of thing. Just the number of posts that came out of the Ever Given shenanigans in general. That was a funny week or two.
Now, do you recall, and do you have it in your notes? Because I know that they got it free, and I wonder if like the captain of the Ever Given was like, all right, we're good. Do we just get to cruise along, or are we good? Are we can just drive? And then they were like, nope, we're holding this for a bit.
Sit here.
Yeah.
Go sit in the corner. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. What were they, what did they try to get as compensation, and what actually ended up being the settlement?
So the Suez Canal Authority, which is they are the Egyptian organization, government connected, that is in charge of kind of keeping things running on the canal smoothly. And so alongside the ship's captain, there is also a Suez Canal a pilot that helps them. They're also guiding the ship. And
it's kind of like having a Sherpa when you're, going up Everest or something, someone who's familiar with the area who's helping guide you through.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a member of the Himalayan people living on the borders of Nepal and Tibet, renowned for their skill in mountaineering. I'd say it is just like that, a Sherpa. Yeah. That's just me though. If I had to,
You looked it up. Okay.
Oh yeah,
all right.
But they are required to. The ships are required to get aid from these, and there is a little. I didn't read deeper into it, but there might be a little bit of. There's always a gift or something, like, oh yes, here's an extra given to the pilots. I wish I went more into it, but it's a little strange, the relationship there between,
like, the captains of the ship give like a little token of appreciation to like, thank you for guiding me through the canal.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, if you don't give one, I mean, I don't think anything bad's gonna happen to you, but I guess it's like
your
not
entire
tipping in
family
America.
will be cursed forever.
Oh yeah, I thought you said kill. Yeah. Oh yeah, because they go right over to the pyramids. They say, "Hey, Tutankhamun, this guy didn't tip 20%. You got to curse his entire bloodline right now."
So was this like a situation where the captain didn't tip,
and so they got the Suez Canal stuck and caused $60 billion worth of trade.
Is that a confirmed thing? Like,
absolutely legally not.
Oh, okay.
No, but there was a lot of argument in that on who was to blame, because everyone was saying, oh, who do we fire for this? Who do we do this? And it was actually the Suez Canal Authority's pilot that advised the captain to speed up, because when the Ever Given came in, and just to be clear, the Ever Given says Evergreen on the side, because that's the parent company. The Ever Given is written in little letters because Ever Given is the ship, Evergreen is the parent company. Right. I was confused about that at the beginning. But yeah, when the Ever Given was sailing through the Suez Canal, there was a sandstorm making visibility a little obstructed and sailing a bit difficult because of the wind.
I don't think they're sailing.
And, what is a ship called when it's moving without a sail?
Moving through the water,
yeah.
Going forward.
Yeah, ship with a motor
going places. Ship go burr.
Ship go burr. So when the Ever Given was burring, it was a little bit shaky because of this sandstorm winds, and it was hard to see because of it. And here's the thing. When you're going slow, the ship, you have less control over the ship when it's going like this, whereas if you're going fast, you have like a little more, there's more force going forward, so it's easier to control because most of the force is going
kind of like
side
riding
from the winds.
a bike almost.
Exactly. Or if you're like, if you have a suitcase and it starts going cluck, 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 like back and forth like that, if you try and stop and get it steady, it'll fall over like, you know. But if you speed up and you start walking faster,
this is, to be clear, a rolly
control.
Suitcase kind of pulling behind you. Yeah, okay.
I have one out there that I would actually love to showcase this with, but it would take a little too. I'm cutting this part.
I really hope this demonstration goes as expected and eloquently proves the point.
Never mind, that was fast enough. I'm not going to cut that part.
Okay.
So,
God, this is the science
you hear
teacher
me?
demonstration. We're all so excited. I don't think you can hear me.
I can, hold on, let me blast my volume here.
No.
So I can hear you over the headphones. I don't have speakers, naturally. Why would I ever make noise? All right. Say hello.
Okay, let's watch this demonstration.
So, you have a suitcase, right? Oh, this right here, this is the Ever Given. This is your Ever Given in smooth waters. And this is your Ever Given in a sandstorm. Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's moving back and forth. It's rocking. Oh man, I'm doing this on purpose because I can't actually get it to do it on accident. So if you have this going on, if you try and slow down while you're moving, it's gonna. Oh man, my suitcase, my boat,
my Ever Given just did a 360 and landed upside down.
The Ever Given actually did a 360 flip before it crashed into the Suez.
That's wild.
But, yeah. Oh no, my 220,000 ton boat. Oh, it's gone. Oh no. Jeez.
And that's what happened.
Jeez. So, that's what happens if you were to slow down your suitcase / boat under normal circumstances. Yet, if you speed up, this miraculous thing happens. It stabilizes out, and you can kind of regain control of it. Whoa, it's stable again. Wow.
Thank you, science teacher Alex, for this incredible demonstration. I understand so well now. That was amazing.
Fantastic. So now we're going to draw a physics body diagram to describe the forces present in this situation, just to get a real... Wow, I tangled these cords up.
God, I loved kinematics in physics in high school. That was very fun times.
Oh, my physics teacher, I hope he's doing well. He had a horribly sad life. He was almost never there because, I mean, assuming he was telling the truth, Mr. Miguel, that's not his real name, but bless him. I mean, first I'm not. Maybe I'll tell this another time. That'll bring down the mood a little bit.
I'm like, what happened?
Well, first we had him for 2 years, Physics 1 and Physics 2, or AP Physics 1 and 2. That's important because he hated his normal class. He would always tell us like, God, they won't stop. But. Yeah, and then he had to leave like partway through the year because his mother passed away. And then he came back for a little bit, and then he had to leave again because his sister was suing him for the inheritance because he was always by his mother's side and his sister wasn't. And then he had to leave again, and then he came back, and then he was in a car accident, and then he had to leave again, and then his dog died on National Pet Day. And it was just and then several other things happened, and it was just, oh man, I hope. And then to top it all off, we all failed the exam, and it's because he wasn't there, and he got put with his normal class. I hope he's okay on the AP exam, because we were all just like, what do we don't want. Someone wrote his story on the back of the AP test because we just didn't really know what we kind of just wrote. We're like, resistance patterns in, and so I hope he's doing okay.
So what you're saying is he didn't tip the pilot.
Oh my God. The Suez Canal Authority cursed Miguel's bloodline. And that's why we failed the exam.
Was that a too soon moment?
Oh no! It's been years. Hopefully, his life has not trended the same direction. I hope it's gone back up. Because he wasn't even a teacher. His dad owned like a big
shipping company.
I don't know if it was. It might have been. I don't know. Oh my God, this relates more than I thought it would. But no, his dad owned some company. He never went into the details, but his dad was like, "Hey, take over." And he said, "No, I want to teach." And he obviously wasn't getting paid well because teachers are underpaid and overworked. And he just taught because he wanted to. And then all this bad stuff just kept happening.
Good Lord, dude.
Oh, man.
It's a bummer. I hope he's doing okay. And I hope I wasn't inappropriate.
Oh, of course. Please. That was a good one. We're all about Egyptian curses related to American tipping structure on this podcast.
Okay. Good. So, well, in any case, so
wait. So the point of that,
yeah. So he should have sped up, but he slowed down.
Actually, he did speed up.
Oh, okay.
To regain control. So that's what the Suez Canal Authority pilot told the captain to do. And so he did speed up. The problem was he told them to speed up in one of the narrowest sections of the Suez Canal. So in this particular case, speeding up is the worst thing he could have done, because in this narrow space, the force of the ship moving, pushing on the water, the water just reflected off of the edges of the canal and back at the ship. So in this case, it just made it more unstable, which they argued the Canal Authority representative should have known that, because they're the guys who do the canal stuff. But no, the result was it crashed because of the added instability from the sandstorm speeding up and having the water reflect and make it more unstable. And so the thing is, though, the Canal Authority says, hey, if anything happens to your ships in our canal, that's not our fault. That's not our problem. Don't know what to tell you. So there was this whole legal battle. I don't know if the legal battle is still going. Likely is. But they initially, after getting it free, the Suez Canal Authority, they wanted a salvage fee, which is normal. A boat crashes, you take it out, you get it free. Salvagers usually get a percentage fee of whatever was on board, the size ship, all this different stuff. Now, you know what they asked for, Jordan?
A few billion?
Much you think? No, it was one.
Okay,
1 billion.
Billion.
But this $1 billion was way above the standard typical price for your salvage fee. So everyone was saying, oh no, what are you talking about? So eventually they argued it down to 500 million, and I believe they argued it down one more time. I don't have the number set. Suez Canal.
So the salvage fee is one thing. The impact to global shipping and any damages associated with that is another, and that could be ongoing, is what you're saying.
Yes. And yeah, I believe they argued the salvage fee to below 500. So they took off more than half of the initial ask, because I don't know why they would do that. They thought maybe, oh, well, because of all this other stuff that it's holding up the 60 billion, we're going to ask for 1 billion. It's like, no, just the one ship you freed, not all the others. So
it's amazing to me though that the shit, like, after crashing into the ground, getting it freed, it's not like it had a big old busted tear in the hull and was sinking. It stayed intact and it was able to keep sailing. And you just have to imagine, like, look at how gigantic this thing is. I have the wiki image pulled up. Like, the amount of pressure that is on that part of the ship that's getting jammed into the sand is, like, insane. How heavy did you say this is?
This thing is 220,000 tons, which for, that doesn't really mean anything.
Is that metric or pounds?
Metric.
Okay, so 220,000 kilos, or 220,000 kilos.
Yeah, let me double check on that. Actually, I noted down tons. I mean, is one spelled with two N's? Okay. Because I thought
they're close though.
With,
like 2,000 pounds and 1,000 kilos. Like, you're off by. It's like point. It's so 2.2 pounds per kilo. So you're off by a little bit, but it's not like you'd be orders of magnitude off on your calculation between pound tons, which is 2,000, and metric tons, which is 1,000 kilos.
Yeah, it was an imperial, so 2240 pounds. Because I actually didn't look up the Suez. I looked up ton versus tons, TONS versus TONNES.
Is it just a spelling thing? Is it like
no?
Or is there a difference?
Ton, the tons spelled Britishly is the kilogram one.
Oh, it is. Okay.
TONNES versus TONS. It's funny. You can tell which one is the American one. Huh. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
But yeah, it is. Ever Given was American 220,000 tons, which, to give some ballpark on how to interpret that information, the Titanic weighed 52.3 thousand tons, which, it's 4 times bigger than Titanic. But again, people overestimate the size of the Titanic nowadays. So to give an actual estimate, Carnival, the cruise ship line, their largest cruise ship, the Mardi Gras, is 180,000 tons.
Okay.
So
is that with or without the passengers?
Without.
Okay.
Just the ship itself is 181,000 tons. And so
the Ever Given weight that's with a load though, right? Or is that without a load?
Believe it's with a load.
Okay. I would assume so.
Yeah. And the load is it has 20,000 roughly TEUs. That's how much you can hold. A TEU is a 20. But I cannot believe I've forgotten this. I said it to myself so many times. Actually, no, I didn't forget. It's a 20-foot equivalent unit.
Okay.
So that means essentially one box, one container, 20-foot equivalent unit. That's one. But we'll get to that once we go into the more broad shipping industry, which is a lot bigger than a lot.
But you're saying
the
on a full load, it is carrying 20,000 containers.
Yeah, 20,388 containers. Oh yeah.
Jeez.
This thing was pretty big.
I mean, the thing that blows my mind is like how high the containers are stacked, and then obviously the thing hits rough seas at some point, and the fact that the containers don't that they're locked into place that well that they're not just flying off the boat left and right.
There are a lot of safeguards to make sure that these containers do not lose any cargo, anything from rough seas, pirates, anything, because these giant ships, the Ever Given and just shipping container ships in general, they're not. They don't have 100, 1,000. They don't have a whole bunch of people on it. So much is automated or safeguarded that they only usually have a 20 to 30 person crew. It is that small for this multi-100,000-ton ship.
Crazy.
It is, yeah. They've saved as much as they can wherever they can, and it's quite amazing that they are still going so much so efficiently. But I feel like you were going to say something.
No, I mean, I've just, I would go to Catalina Island, which is kind of off the coast of south of LA. And Port of Long Beach is it the biggest port in the world, or is it just the biggest port in North America? It's at least the biggest port in North America. And you see these ships as you're, sitting at the place where you board the little boat that takes you to Catalina, little in comparison to these. And you're just like, oh my God, how does anybody pilot one of these things? How is there a captain up on the bridge that is actually like steering this thing through the harbor with little, because this in Port of Long Beach, you'll have small craft that are also going through the same channel as these big evergreen ships. And just the fact that you have to navigate this and then line it up with the dock, the cruise ships too are like absolutely wild seeing those pull in. But these are even bigger. And I mean, it's just, that's crazy. I can't imagine the stress, but they're probably used to it.
It's just like standing next to an excavator. You go to a construction site, you drive by, you actually get up close to one and you look up like, wow, this thing is big. No wonder it moves so much dirt. And so just to stand next to that and think it's so big, and then to see this picture that was going around everywhere, where it looks like a toy compared to just the bottom of this boat, is these ships are gargantuan. That's a fun word to use because you rarely get to use it appropriately. Yeah. My mom hates the word ginormous because it's two words put together, or at least she did like 14 years ago. But
is your mom an English teacher by any chance?
No, she's not. She just didn't like that at the time. I don't know. Okay. But I'd say this is ginormous if I had to.
I would too.
If I was forced to.
Yeah. And then they also go like so far underwater because the load that's on them.
Yeah.
It's got to displace.
They're buoyant.
It has to displace that amount of weight in water. Yeah. So it's
to give a demonstration. If you plunge your,
I thought you were about to just pour it on yourself again for a little.
Yeah, I thought that you would thought that I would do that, but it is colder now, and this room doesn't get heat, so I will not do that.
Yes, I forget what the law is. It frick Archimedes principle, is that it? It's displacing the weight of water of what it weighs, but it
is Archimedes principle.
It is Archimedes. Yes, let's go.
Yeah. Jordan, have you ever considered becoming a physics teacher that has had his life cursed?
If I keep getting third place in MCCs, then maybe.
MCC. Mass times the speed of light squared. What?
Yes, that has lots to do with shipping.
MCC is.
Oh yeah.
MCC is E.
Evergreen equals Minecraft times championship squared.
This is now a physics podcast.
It basically has sort of turned in. We have diverged a little bit from shipping industry more to like, hey, isn't the engineering cool on how these ships exist and stuff? So
I mean, they are. Yeah. It is,
and it is still the most efficient way to get very huge amounts of things from one place of the world to the other. Because unfortunately, we have not devised ways to fly things like this yet.
Yeah, it's interesting because the shipping industry is, when you say shipping industry, people think like, oh yeah, I'm shipping my package across the country. People drive in trucks and do it. But the shipping industry, the actual giant thing that
is where the name originates from. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Back in ye old days, with Columbus and Jesus and all that, definitely opposite sides of the spectrum, those two people, but they were in the past and they saw boats and stuff. Man, They were taking the Mayflower. They were taking flowers in May across the world. You don't even know. Like they were. But the thing about that is all of their goods. If they want to take meat or stuff, salted all that stuff, putting salt all over it to preserve it, or what? A table? What are you, a king? You're not taking a table across the boat, across the sea. If you are, it's going to be, someone's going to be holding your table and they're going to have scurvy and they're going to be moving your table on and off the ship. Today, specifically, since 1956, it started, the container industry has boomed. Because how you see it now, these containers that you see on all the ports, this is, to the best of our knowledge, the most efficient way to move this stuff. Because instead of having all of these sacks and nets and everything holding this miscellaneous material that people have to lug and move weirdly or have it fall and break, the containers very easily and very simply, you load it onto these box things. You can take them off, and it's all just in this one thing. Instead of having to find out how to ship 100 different weird items, you're shipping essentially one item, this box. And so that is one of the reasons we have this global trade, the ability to do shipping for so cheap and to know that it's just going to work.
It's so cheap up until last year,
Yeah, so relatively
ignore
cheap.
Those couple of years.
Yes. Cheap compared to Columbus moving your dining room IKEA table.
Yes.
It's going to be fantastic because containers are one of the few things in the world that we have a world standard on. Like even chargers, we can't even get them. Plugs, electricity. We have different flavors of electricity across nations. But these boxes,
they're trying to taste
forever.
Electricity. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Honestly, it's got a little bit of a kick to it, if I had to describe it.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy in probably most cases, but different levels of spice. I know there's higher voltages in other countries. The U.S. is kind of low on the voltage scale, so it's probably spicier in other places. That'd be my guess.
To be fair, the Spice Girls were all electricians.
Wow, little known fact. Such good knowledge that people get by listening to these. I didn't actually know those. So you said 1956 is when containers were really first standardized? Before that?
No, that was the first time anyone ever did it. It was this guy in New Jersey who wanted to ship something to Texas. Instead of driving it across, he used these containers on a boat, which it's a longer distance, but the reason boats are so efficient is because not only do these containers make it so efficient, but boats don't need to stop. They have all the fuel they need once they leave. They go from point A to point B. People don't have to sleep. People don't have to do.
People do have to sleep.
People do have to sleep, but they can sleep while the boat is still moving.
You get on a ship, you're just like, I'm awake.
All right. 30 days, Pacific. Let's go. That seems like... What was the plot of The Lighthouse?
I didn't watch it. That was the thing with House and Loki or something like that.
Oh, yeah. What was his name? House.
Hugh Laurie.
Yeah. That's when Hugh Laurie kind of stepped into the sun.
Was it? I thought he was pretty popular in House. Anyway, I think I've seen images or something like that. Oh, I get light because Lighthouse.
I thought you were doubling up on the joke.
I should have played it out that way. I really should have. Okay. Yeah.
I'll forget the last 30 seconds. It's fine.
Thank you.
I do it normally. Speaking of, I have to go charge my toothbrush. I forgot again. I regularly forget my life as it happens.
Is this playing into a bit or something? Or is this...
No, me forgetting the last 30 seconds of what you said just reminded me that I got to charge. So my toothbrush has a little red light and it goes beep, beep, beep. Low battery. And let me tell you, I will look at this thing twice a day, every single day for 4 days in a row and say, oh, I got to charge that. From the moment...
I thought you just somehow grabbed your toothbrush. That's a pen. Okay. I was very confused for a second.
No, my teeth brush are in there. I only have pens here. But the moment I take my toothbrush away and put it down, my memories go with it. It is astounding how I can look at this red light in the mirror and say, oh, I gotta charge this. Memory.
No, that's understandable.
But
it's low on your priority list.
No, but it's like 30 seconds until I leave the bathroom. And the moment the doorway is a neuralizer for Men in Black, I swear. But for it to happen days and days in a row, because I brush my teeth twice a day, morning and night.
Good for you.
And thanks. And then for 4 days, just to be like, oh, I got to charge that 8 times. The first time, I'm like, oh, I got to do it. The second time, I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't do it. The third time, I'm like, you're stupid, do it. The fourth time, I am getting really upset at myself. The fifth time, I get worried. The sixth time, I'm like, maybe I should go to a doctor. The seventh time, I'm like, okay. And then the 8th time is when I do it. So
there's eight stages of grief for your toothbrush.
Yeah, 8 stages of grief, relief. 8 stages of teeth. What were you saying?
I did want to just mention how, outside of the last 2 years with the absolutely skyrocketing rates, the fact that it was around $2,000 to $3,000 to get the entirety of one of these shipping crates across the world on one of these actually seems like a fairly not crazy expensive amount for how big these is. Each one of these containers, as I'm pointing at the wiki image of the Ever Given, is like, that's a truck. You place that container onto the back of an 18-wheeler and it plugs in there. And
funny enough, trucks, why do you think they're that size?
Oh, so did it? Oh, okay. The container came before the 18-wheeler standardized dimensions. Is that where it came from? Okay.
Not all 18-wheelers are fit to carry these things because alongside the size, they're also quite heavy. But the trucks that can carry them, they are all fit specifically to carry it. That's another thing about this containers. Everything is fit to this dimensions because when you have this worldwide standard that transports so much of the world's goods, I believe, is it 90% of world trade is at least touches the sea at some point?
That would be on you to fetch that stat. I can't quote it.
Well, I have it written here, but I also have check next to it. So I want to get
good on
a
our
second
facts here on this
or third source. But yeah, but the automation at these ports, all of the cranes are perfectly fit to pick up and put down these boxes. They're perfectly sized because these boxes, 20-foot, they call it a 20-foot equivalent unit because
I love it. More science demonstrations. Let's go.
So these containers here, 20-foot equivalent units. Why are they called that? Well, because, hold on, that's my address. Let me just squiggle that out. Oh, like I said during cut, McDonald's has infected me.
I heard that.
Yeah, I have not eaten there in years, but for some reason recently I started going ba-da-ba-ba-ba to myself.
Oh no.
And I don't know why. Oh, hey, look. This is from the desk that I'm currently on.
Oh, nice.
This is from so long. Yeah, I kept this
because of this
reason.
demo. Yeah.
Yes. So, what for these containers, right? Here is your standard container, right?
I really wasn't expecting that this was going to be used as a whiteboard. I thought you were going to do something with pop the cardboard out and be like, this is a perfectly to scale cardboard container ship.
I could do that. So, this is your container ship. This, not your ship, your container for the ship, right?
I don't know if it's to scale.
November 12th. That's so weird. November 12th.
Yeah.
This was from months ago. Anyway, This is roughly 8 foot by 8 foot. That is your standard container. It might vary a little bit, but 8 foot by 8 foot, that's the front. Now, the side, that was a survey I took recently. The side here, this is 20 feet. So you got an 8 foot by 8 foot by 20 foot. Or it can also be 40 feet in length.
I was going to say the big ones look longer.
They are.
Yeah.
And it's exactly double the length. So you've got the same 8 foot by 8 foot length and width, but the depth, you have 20 or 40 feet, which means the 40 foot one is obviously exactly double the volume and space area of taken up on the ship of the 20 foot one. So that means if you want to say, oh, how many boxes can we fit onto the ship? It would be annoying to say, well, we can fit 2,000 of the regular ones and 4,000 of the big ones if we do. So they say one of these boxes, one of these containers is one 20-foot equivalent unit. Because if you have one regular-sized box and one double-sized box, then you have three 20-foot equivalent units.
Okay.
And that's how they size out how much a ship can hold. And they don't have to go into specifics because essentially one of the long ones is just two of the shorter ones without the opening in the middle.
Right.
So if you ever see 20-foot equivalent unit, if you're looking into shipping for some reason, that's what that is. And
what's interesting to me is it looks like all the small ones, the single 20-foot equivalents, are on the bottom, and they put the bigger ones on the top, even though I would think like you would want like the bigger ones that are maybe heavier on the bottom. I don't know, but obviously there's a reason they pack it like they do.
I believe the 20-foot equivalents, the single ones, the 20-foot ones are on the bottom because you have that essentially a support where it you have those bars and the front. It's like a two.
Yeah, in the middle you have the support beam. That's true. That makes sense.
Yeah. So you put the 40 ones on top.
Clever.
We
really went an engineering direction with this podcast.
I didn't expect to do that. All this stuff on the environmental impacts, the efficiency versus price cost on the market, Maersk's. Oh, we didn't even talk about Maersk, the biggest one, but that's just how the ship sails, or that's just how the ship burrs, I suppose.
I mean, if we were to tie it back to stocks, people expect the shipping rates maybe to keep going down, and ZIM has a really big dividend, so you got that going for you.
Yeah. Just really quick, because I think it's important to know Maersk. That's the name you see on all these boxes if you go to shipping containers, because Maersk is tied for the biggest shipping company, tied with the Mediterranean shipping company. Maersk has 20% of all containers shipped overseas. Maersk. They are quite big, and there's more stuff, but we're already past an hour, so I'm not going to go into it, but that's Maersk, and that's the shipping industry, and yay, good.
A fascinating insight into the industry. Also, I like how there's Costco shipping, but it's not Costco.
I was going to bring that up too if we got to it.
I wonder if they shipped Costco on Costco.
I bet they do, because these container ships, they have everything. The Ever Given, its manifest was like, there's anything and everything you can imagine on these things. On the Ever Given's manifest was like IKEA furniture, camping supplies, lemons, dildos, bicycles, $100,000 worth of bicycles, wiring, like anything you can think of.
How many?
Was on this
what
ship.
Was the monetary equivalent of dildos?
Oh, priceless.
Okay.
They didn't spoil like the lemons and the tofu, though.
There is a lemon reference that ties back into the other thing. Anyway.
Did they have a party or something?
No, I'm going to leave that one for the audience's imagination. And
oh, wow. I don't know. Make
right.
lemonade.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, special fun fact about this episode. The past 3 episodes were recorded like over a month in advance. This one's going up today.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, I'm going to try and get this one up tonight.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing the comments later on. Wow. That's okay.
Yeah.
Heck of a time.
B, I hope...
We should probably wrap this thing up then.
Yeah, we should probably do that so I can go to bed.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
And thank you for your engineering research, Alex.
Thank you for your research as well, Jordan. You knew like a lot more about like the LA things. I'm saying like a lot recently. I've noticed that, and I don't enjoy it.
You don't like it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I want to stop, but it's hard.
It is.
Bye.
I'll see you next time.